Avida holds events such as this one for the past 5 years. So this is actually the first time that we are holding a live event which caters to our target audience. Mostly these are first-time investors, young families, and millennials. And this type of event aims to help them make the sound investment that would suit their lifestyle and their needs.
The biggest plus for young investors would be their runway. If you have a long runway, you have investments, long-term investments working well for you. So somebody starting early can actually, invest less than somebody who will be investing in big amounts, maybe 10 years later. The guy who started first will end up having more. It has to be very clear to our young investors that they're looking at a long haul. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So very important that they build up their portfolio very early and they build it up using the right instruments. All of those are real factors. They will always be a part of the equation. But you know what? When you drill down to it, hindi naman matatapos lahat yan, di ba? It's now a matter of sifting through what we have as an environment and looking at, where we can position ourselves so that no matter what happens, we have a solution for it. You have to realize many of these considerations, like the election, for example, that's gonna be done in a few weeks, right? So in the end, you're making a decision not for what happens in 4 weeks, but for what will happen to you over 5 years. So I tell a lot of people, we can never control the weather, but we're the captains of our own ship. So, we control our responses. When you buy real estate, it's a commitment, probably one of the biggest, purchases you're going to be making in a lifetime. It can be daunting, it can be intimidating, but let me assure you, in about 3 to 5 years, it won't be as daunting as it is. Because many people would probably think, I'm going to be paying 10,000 a month or 15,000 a month. You know what? In about 5 years, that 10,000 a month, that 15,000 a month will be a small proportion of your income. Which means at that particular time, what matters would be your discipline. And if you're disciplined enough, then you can get yourself into the next purchase, you can get yourself to the third purchase, and whatever the first and second purchase is earning you, you can actually use that to fund the third and the fourth. This is where you get to separate the people are really focused on wealth building. Because at the end of the day, it is not what you earn, it's what you keep. It's going to be that consistency, and you don't do that unless you make big decisions and stick by them. Best move. When you say the next best, defining best for an investment, it has to be correct. And it has to be correct not just today but in the future. It starts with the more stable investments and it goes and builds up to what I call the speculative investments. And the speculative investments will have to be at the very tip, which means it's one of the smallest in terms of proportion. Over time, asset allocation accounts for over 90% of your success in investing. So the people who invested in property, the people who invested in stable investments that grow over time, the track record that's there, 5, 10 years, 13, 14, 15, eventually the guy who made the right choices will be ahead.
You can visit us in our 22 sites nationwide. They can also look for us in our Avida Facebook, our webpage, www.avidaland.com. They can contact any of our property specialists and we will be very, very happy to help you guys choose the right investment.